Hi everybody, Miss-Elaineous here and welcome back to my channel. For those of you who haven't been here before, this is where I take you to see offbeat, interesting and quirky tourist attractions. Today I'm going to take you to the hidden gem that is the Tenement House in Glasgow. It is a real comment on the social history of the first part of the 19th century. It was rented by a Miss Agnes Toward. To start with, she lived here with her widowed mother and then lived here alone after her mother died and she never married. Now the beauty of this place is that she never changed a thing about it, apart from having electricity wired in when the time came. Ironically, nowadays this flat has been converted back to gas lighting in the name of authenticity. Miss Toward kept many mementos from her life, such as letters from friends and postcards too, recipes she'd written down, and programmes from theatre performances she'd been to, so we can get a good idea of her life. It is a real time capsule. Don't forget to hit like, click on that notifications bell, and you might want to subscribe as well. It is free. Come and take a walk in my shoes and I will see you in the video. The building dates from 1892 and the flat in question is a first floor time capsule, occupied by Agnes Toward from 1911 to 1965. The ground floor flats have now been bought by the National Trust and act as a reception and exhibition area. This room is the museum room with a very authentic fireplace, and here are some objects from Miss Toward's sewing box. She lived alone with her dressmaker mother, as her father died when she was 3 and her 2 sisters had passed in infancy. Now there would have been tenement buildings opposite, but they were knocked down to make way for the M8. This is the shop. The black dress in the cabinet is believed to have been Mrs. Toward's wedding dress when she married in April 1884. It is thought that she probably made it herself as she was a dressmaker. Agnes was born in 1886. From 1914 she worked as a shorthand typist, the same profession as my mother. We know that she was petite and less than 5 feet in height, and that she played with a doll called Rosa and had a cat named Tibbs. This room shows a model of a tenement building. It is an ordinary red sandstone building, although early tenements were built in local white or honey-coloured sandstone. Tenements could be single end, which is only one room, but this flat had 2 rooms plus a kitchen and bathroom, and it was built for the slightly better off. Even larger tenements existed for the more affluent. There's a picture of Agnes. Could that be Rosa at the back? Here are some of her postcards. The house I was brought up in was built in 1905 and we had fireplaces like these, lovingly restored by my father, who was quite artistic. A map of Glasgow. The cleaning of the stairs was a shared responsibility of all of the occupants of the house. I love the tiles coming down the sides. This tenement building contains flats which are still lived in today. Now this room contains a selection of letters received by Agnes from her friends in London. She did her secretarial training in 1905 at a commercial college in Buchanan Street, which is in the city centre. A view out of the window, everyday essentials and some tiles common to these kind of tenements. A letter to Miss Toward, and isn't that handwriting elegant? I hope that, in this day and age of computers and texting, handwriting is not a skill that gets lost. Now we are entering Agnes's bedroom, and do check out my blog. There is oodles more information on there. All 4 of the rooms led from a central hallway. The fireplace would only have been lit if the occupant was ill. Agnes lived here alone after her mother's death in 1939, and she never married. The house that I was brought up in also had a dressing table similar to this, and the dressing table set on top. Now, I don't know what this machine is. It looks like some kind of embroidery machine. I should know as I study fashion, but that was some time ago. The washing stand and brass beds like these are still popular nowadays. We're now in the living room. Here's a piano, and we know that Agnes liked listening to the wireless. A parlour like this would only have been used for special occasions. Looks like a writing desk in the corner, and the table is set for afternoon tea. We have a china cupboard in the far corner and the fireplace. The bell next to the fireplace would have been used to summon the maid. It's unlikely that the Towards ever had domestic help though, even though it was cheap at the time. Set-in beds like this were only found in tenements built before 1900. They provided extra sleeping space but ended up being banned for health reasons. A photograph of the living room or parlour. Into the bathroom. The Towards were lucky, as many tenements shared an outside privy with their neighbours, although some tenements had communal toilets inside, one on each landing. The sink is porcelain but made to look like marble, and here you have a deep bath. At the back is the gas meter, and the basket would have been used for taking the washing in and out on wash day. People who didn't have bathrooms would have used a tin bath. Who else can remember that awful Izal toilet paper? I think they still had it in schools right up until the 80s. Into the kitchen, and this would have been the most lived-in room of the house. Another set-in bed with a hot water bottle. Ironing would have been done on the table. And there was a water tank towards the far side of the boiler, which is now a cupboard. The water would have been piped from here around the flat. Here we have the coal bunker and cooking implements, which are still popular today. The wringer would have been used for small items. Larger items were washed in the wash house, and there was a strict rota for that. The wash house outside has now been destroyed. This cupboard once housed the water tank. It now has jam in it, and one jar dates from 1929, and it was made by Agnes. And a rat in the corner, and down we go down the elegant stairs. The downstairs part never belonged to the Towards. Agnes Toward left the building when she went into hospital in 1965, dying 10 years later. This is the tea room. Just have to take a little look at the cafe. The flat was bought by a Scottish actress called Anna Davidson, and, realising what an important part of social history she had on her hands, she sold it on, in 1982, to the National Trust for Scotland. This is an education room and a kind of extension of the tea room. I will leave you with a photograph of this elegant building. Thank you for watching, and I do hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to come and see me soon on another miscellaneous adventure. You might want to check out my other Glasgow posts too. The link is here. Remember to give me a thumbs up, click on subscribe and hit that notifications bell. I will see you next time. Ta-ta for now.